When it comes to manga, titles come and go, with new authors and artists entering the space year-round. Unless you're One Piece, Case Closed, or Hajime no Ippo anyway. That being said, some authors and artists finish one series and start a new one right after that. Hiro Mashima went from Rave Master to Fairy Tail, Togashi Yoshihiro went from Yu Yu Hakusho to Hunter x Hunter, and more recently, Masashi Kishimoto, creator of Naruto, confirmed that he's writing Samurai 8 with his former assistant now taking up the pen as the main artist. With all of that in mind, what else is new with some of our favorite artists? My name is Axel Ablaze, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing my list for the top 6 new series by some of our favorite authors and artists. Now keep in mind that this list is entirely subjective. All of the series and the stories I'm about to talk about are real, and I'll be keeping my spoilers to a minimum. But my ordering and opinions are just that, opinions. I want to share these with you guys so that you can form your own opinions and hopefully fall in love with them just like I have. And if you are interested in any of the series that I mention, I'll tell you how you can read and or watch these series after every entry on the list. Now to begin this list, at number 6, on our list we have the latest series by history's strongest disciple creator, Seiyun Matsuena, Kimi wa 008. Like the name would suggest, Kimi wa 008 is a story about spies and a young teen named Akashi Eto who unknowingly winds up getting enrolled in a school for spy training. On top of this, Akashi soon learns after enrolling that his father led a life far more interesting than he had ever imagined. For those that have read history's strongest disciple, Akashi is Kenichi 2.0. He starts out as an average high schooler, but he's got the potential to rise to the top, all while training next to a very well-endowed female spy that's at the top of her class. Expect a lot of humor, some fun action scenes, and lots of fan service. A lot, and I mean a lot. The series is currently ongoing in Weekly Shonen Sunday, and there are 56 chapters out to date as of this writing, but fan translation is pretty far behind at this point, with just about 19 out right now. Fingers crossed that another fan group swoops in and starts translating the wealth of chapters still out there. Moving right along to number 5 on our list, we have Orient, the newest work from MAGIX creator Shinobu Otaka. The Magic Trio are back in Bushi form. In a mining town where samurai are looked down upon, a young teen named Musashi wants to become a samurai himself. But why are samurai so looked down upon in this town? A dark secret is about to be revealed as Musashi and his friend Kojiro are flung into a big unknown world. Orient retains the spirit of Magi while building a new world with interesting characters. If it has half the twists as Magi, Orient will shape up to be a great series. Like 008, Orient is being fan-subbed at the moment. It's published in Weekly Shonen magazine along with 2 more entries on this list. There are 42 chapters out now as of this writing, with 34 of them being fan-translated. Now those looking for Otaka's original series Magi can now read volume 35, which is out in print. If enough people support it, there's a very good chance that Orient could get printed as well in the future. Now starting with number 4, every entry moving forward on this list has one way or another to support the official release. At number 4, we have the longest running series on this list and arguably the one with the most hype moving forward, Fire Force from Soul Eater creator Atsushi Okubo. Yes, it's the Firefighter series with trailers plastered all over the internet. The anime is coming out this summer, produced by David Productions, the same studio that does JoJo and Cells at Work, but the manga it's based on has been running in Weekly Shonen magazine since 2015. In an alternate version of Earth set in Japan, the human race faces a deadly phenomenon of human combustion. The only ones that can put a stop to these flame humans are an elite group of firefighters. But Shinra Kusakabe wants to join this fire force, not knowing how many secrets the flame humans, the fire force, and even he himself holds. Now just like Soul Eater, Fire Force has an interesting and varied cast of characters along with several twists and turns, while Okubo himself twists his very own art style. Fire Force is still publishing weekly in Weekly Shonen magazine, like I mentioned previously, but for those wanting to own the volumes in English, volumes 1 through 14 are out for sale now, with volume 15 releasing on April 30th, each book retailing for $10.99 each. If anime is more your thing, Fire Force will be premiering this summer in July. The link in the description below will have the anime trailer. As for number 3 on our list, it's still relatively new like Orient is, but the name behind it carries a lot of weight. I mentioned them at the beginning, and from the legendary Hiro Mashima, creator of Rave Master and Fairy Tail, comes his latest series, Eden Zero. Now I'll be honest here, towards the end of Fairy Tail, I was ready for something different. The same story patterns repeated over and over again, and they got tiring. Which is saying something considering Mashima recycles characters and plots from Rave Master into Fairy Tail. Eden Zero was the change of pace that I needed, albeit with recycled characters once again entering the fray. A blonde female YouTuber, BCuber, and her friend and partner Happy, yes, that Happy, are visiting an abandoned amusement park run by robots when they run into a black-haired Natsu, human, who just wants to be friends with everyone. Can you say friendship powers are go? But the arrival of these new visitors brings about a change in the robots. All joking aside here, the first chapter managed to blow my expectations out of the water with a single twist at the very end, alluding to a much grander scale for this series than any previous story by Mashima, at least in my opinion anyway. I'm optimistic for what the series has in store, especially as a sci-fi story instead of fantasy. Now just like Orient and Fire Force, it's currently running weekly in Weekly Shonen Magazine. Volumes 1 and 2 are available in English, and they retail for $10.99 each, with Volume 3 coming out June 4th. Interestingly enough, you can also get the individual chapters, up to chapter 39 right now, for Kindle or through Comixology for 99 cents each. As for an anime, I still think it's too soon to call. Both this and the offshoot series from Fairy Tail, 100 Year Quest, are still too new for production. But maybe in 2020, you never know. Alright, home stretch time. Now it's time for the top 2, and starting at number 2 on this list belongs to the one title I am amazed has stayed in the dark for so long. I'm talking about Platinum End by Death Note and Bakuman creators Tsugumi Oba and Takashi Obata. Now, how has this series gone so unnoticed for so long? The masters of moral ambiguity and dark storylines are back in form with a new series discussing life, death, angels, and God. And that's where I put in the disclaimer. For those familiar with Death Note, be warned that this new series also discusses and portrays death, suicide, graphic images, and intense situations, like a story straight out of Ashirogi Muto. Religious views also have a big part in this story as well, so feel free to take that into consideration before checking Platinum End out. If that intrigues you even more, then feel free to read this story about a boy and his angel. And I'm going to leave the story discussion at that, because any more and I would be denying you guys finding out the truth about this absolutely amazing story. Now in Japan, the manga releases monthly through Jump SQ. That being said, if there is one entry on this list that you need to collect the physical volumes for, it is hands down Platinum End. These books are absolutely gorgeous, with amazing character art wrapping from front to back, with the prismatic holographic pattern printed on top to make it really pop. Volumes 1 through 8 are out now, with Volume 9 releasing July 2nd, and each book retails for $9.99. Now there's no word on an anime yet, but if I had to pose a guess, I'd say the earliest we could see a Platinum End anime would be summer or fall of next year. Fingers crossed, because this series would look absolutely amazing animated. Now before we go on to number 1 on my list, I want to share a few honorable and dishonorable mentions. My 2 dishonorable mentions are Hungry Marie by Ryuhei Tamura and Robot X Laser Beam by Tadatoshi Fujimaki. Hungry Marie was the latest series by Beelzebub creator Tamura. It's a romantic comedy with a body-swapping gimmick, and its publication failed to last a year and only made it to 32 chapters, which, by the way, only got fully fan-translated about a week before this video's creation. And though it's also a dishonorable mention, Fujimaki's Robot X Laser Beam only fared a little bit better than Hungry Marie. Fujimaki is best known for Kuroko no Basket, and he tried to strike gold twice with his golf manga starring red-headed Kuroko. It made it past a year of publication, but didn't leave much of a lasting impact. If you want to check it out, all 62 chapters have been fan-subbed online. Now onto the honorable side of things, we've got Shaman King the Superstar by Hiroyuki Takei and Black Clover by Yuki Tabata. The Superstar is the latest entry in the Shaman King series following the events of Flowers, the sequel to the original Shaman King. Now it is a huge relief to see Takei back to writing Shaman King, because Flowers ended when the magazine it was published in, Jump X, ended publication. Kodansha ended up picking up the rights and started to publish the All-Star along Takei's other ongoing series, Neko Gahara. Now I will admit I have yet to read the series myself, so my apologies for not having more of an informed opinion on it, but I promise that I will get to reading that eventually. And for those of you wondering, yes, Black Clover isn't the first series written by Yuki Tabata. Back in 2012, his series Hungry Joker ran in Weekly Shonen Jump. Now, sadly, it only ran for 24 chapters, despite having an interesting premise and a twist on history. It's also pretty funny how much of a contrast that series and its characters are from Black Clover. Now that being said, I plan on going into my thoughts on Black Clover more in depth in another episode, but I highly recommend giving it a watch and or read. Both the anime and manga are running as we speak. And word of advice on the anime though, watch the dub. Please, please, please watch the dub. If you compare and contrast Asa's voice between the two, you will thank me for recommending the dub instead. With the mentions out of the way, that brings us to the number one entry on our list. And in my opinion, this series is one of the new titans of the manga world. Written by iShield 21's Riichiro Inagaki and drawn by Origin's Boichi, comes a science-driven series, Dr. Stone. Wait. You're saying that Dr. Stone is written by the same guy that wrote iShield 21? As shocking as that might sound, yeah, I didn't even know that myself at first until the idea for this video came to me months ago. Once you start reading Dr. Stone though, the light bulb turns on in your head and that connection is made. And fun fact, speaking of iShield 21, the artist for that series was Yusuke Murata, and he's responsible for the art of another big hit series right now, One Punch Man. Now take a look at a side-by-side comparison of the art and it becomes clear as day. But back to Dr. Stone. In a world where the human race has been turned to stone, two teenagers emerge from their stone prisons and try to rebuild the world as they once knew, all while Inagaki is literally creating the world as he goes and picking and choosing its inhabitants. The series is incredible for several reasons. The characters and plots are fantastically written with great humor, suspense, and character development. Very important. All of which is beautifully presented in Boichi's art style. They really make an incredible team. Another important aspect of Dr. Stone is that, in my opinion, it does for science what Shokugeki no Soma originally did for food. It's amazing to see the breakdown of technologies, medicine, food, and more that we take for granted on a daily basis. And Dr. Stone does just that, but in a fun and enjoyable way. And clearly the people in Japan love it too, because Dr. Stone regularly ranks in the top of Weekly Shonen Jump. Now right now there's two ways to read Dr. Stone. Volumes 1 through 4 are available right now, with Volume 5 coming out May 5th. Each book retails for $9.99 each. The other way to read it is through the new Shonen Jump subscription service. For $2.99 a month, you can read Weekly Shonen Jump right from the convenience of your phone. Along with some of the current series in Japan, you can also read some of Shonen Jump's other older popular titles. Naruto, Bleach, Bakuman, Death Note, Kuroko no Basket, and more are all part of the app. Now that said, you are currently limited to reading 100 chapters a day, but there's a lot to read and more will be added in the future. For Dr. Stone, you can read right now up to chapter 101, with new chapters releasing every Sunday on the app. And just like Jump Force, Dr. Stone is getting an anime this summer produced by TMS Entertainment, the same studio that's producing the new Fruit Baskets anime. They've also produced Megalobox, D-Gray Man, History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi, and the legendary Hamtaro, among other series. The cast so far looks and sounds great, with the likes of ReZero's Subaru, Fairy Tail's Grey Fullbuster, Darling in the Franxx' Ichigo, and One Punch Man Saitama joining the initial cast. I'll have a link for this trailer in the comments as well. So that's my list. I didn't want to give away too much when discussing these titles because I feel like their premises and the creators behind them hold enough weight to grab your interests. At the same time, while I myself love these new series, I want you guys to form your own opinions so that we can share and discuss them. In the future, I'll be doing more videos breaking down a few of these new series and talking about a few of the older ones as well. So if you want to see any of these videos when they come out, it would be amazing of you to like this video, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to know when my next videos come out. For now, this is Axel Blaze signing off, and it's book reading time.